And good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday, the 11th day here of July. I'm Wave Meteorologist Brian Good on this warm, but beautiful morning. Beautiful sunshine outside. We'll be taking a look at that here in just a second. Nice start to the day. Our focus is on the process of heating back up once again, and of course, the lovely stormy pattern that's coming our way. But there may be some changes down the road. I'll explain on that here coming up in just a second. As always, you guys can comment on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube as well. I'm going to try to go through this as much as I can on timing, but I know that's probably going to be your number one question. Just bear with me on that, because that's going to be the hardest part of this entire forecast is going to be timing. But I'll at least give you the snapshot of where we stand today on this. All right. So as always, again, I see your comments. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Angela and Judy. Kathy Scott, by the way, I saw your comment. Thank you all the time for sending in your photos on the Wave Weather app for the good photo of the day. I appreciate that. I love seeing your shots up there into Trimble County. I just want to make sure to acknowledge it, because I do see your photos all the time there, so I appreciate that. All right, so let's get into the severe risk that is out as we head into tomorrow and Thursday, and likely beyond that. But as of today, the Storm Prediction Center is going with a low-end severe risk, a marginal, for areas along and north of the Ohio River as we head into Wednesday. Some of this is Wednesday afternoon, FYI, and some of it's also going to be after midnight. All of Wave Country is in the zone for Thursday, and likely we'll see that extend even into Friday. And I think at this point, actually Friday may be a little bit lower of a risk the way it's trending. Saturday jumps back up, though, once again. So I'll go through all the maps to kind of explain all that here in just 1 second. Let's start with the shot right now from space. Just a few small cumulus clouds trying to develop. We're going to see a very similar sky as we head into later on for this afternoon, like we did yesterday. That's speckling of cumulus clouds. Okay, so here's the wider view. There's some hot pockets, if you will. And is it weird, by the way, that I've never had a hot pocket? People always make fun of me when I say that. I never have. I think I'm terrified of burning my mouth. That's why I never had one. But anyway, areas or hot pockets of showers and even some storms this morning kind of scattered across the lower 48. One batch out in Florida, one that's been causing some weather headlines. New York State, Vermont, now into Quebec, just east of Montreal, dealing with a lot of heavy rainfall. This is a very slow moving low, but it is actually hitting some of the wildfires into eastern Canada. So this is a good thing. They don't want too much rain, of course, but it is hitting some. It's not hitting all the fires, but it is at least heading in that direction where it's making a little bit of an impact. And that is, I'm sure, welcome news for them. All right, to the west and northwest, though, as we head into the other provinces of Canada, as we're waiting for the next system to move in. across areas of Saskatchewan all the way to Montana and into the Dakotas. That is where our next round of showers and storms will be breaking out as we head into later on today. The severe risk is out from roughly Montana all the way through areas of Iowa as the front sinks south. That's your main focal point for storms will be. Then tomorrow, looks like a big blob coming our way, but you can see how it's focused certainly on St. Louis, Evansville, Paducah. I mean, this is a very familiar spot that was impacted on a daily basis the end of June into the 4th of July holiday weekend. I mean, it was every day this spot in the slight risk was getting hit, and big time storms too, doing a lot of damage. So it certainly leads to a higher confidence scenario because weather patterns like this like to repeat. The storylines like to repeat. So this is a very high confidence setup, I think, for severe weather into the same spots that already have had to face it as of the past couple of weeks. But the risk, just like we saw with the previous rounds, does fade a little more toward I-65. We, especially in Louisville, got lucky with several of those rounds of storms that moved through that fell apart because they did not have enough of a moisture profile to maintain themselves to the same intensity as they were back in, say, Evansville. The same setup is showing up as we get into Wednesday. Thursday, sort of in that same ballpark. But I think overall, the immediate concern is going to be what's going to happen first for Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night. They've already put the hatched areas out for damage winds, for significant damage winds. This looks like another MCS, mesoscale convective system, the big blobs, the backward C's, if you will, that look like the letter C backwards on the radar. That should get going around Missouri, perhaps St. Louis, and damage winds are showing up strongly in the modeling right now. I'll show you that in a second. And that area, I think, will have to get expanded all the way to Paducah and southeast Missouri. A lot of the modeling is hitting that area a little harder on the mid-morning model runs that I've noticed so far. Then we get into Thursday. It's a general broad, low-end severe risk. My gut feeling on this is there's going to be a category added here for slight. We just have to figure out where would the trigger be. You have to keep in mind the atmosphere is going to be generally the same until we get a front to move in here, which will be part of Saturday. And there's another one that may move in on Monday, but really on Saturday, a front will move through. Until that happens, the atmosphere is generally the same exact one, same playing field. It's just you've got different triggers going at different times. And that's the reason why timing is difficult, because one wave of thunderstorms is going to greatly impact the next one. And in some cases, it can throw off the next run of thunderstorms off its track or may even prevent it from developing at all. And that is a huge risk factor in these kind of forecasts because they can lead to big bust, good and bad. It can go the other way too, where you can get a violent round of thunderstorms when the rain chance may have only been 20 or 30%. So this is one of those setups you just gotta watch it and babysit it. That's our job. We'll do that. And just stay informed, just stay close to the Wave Weather app, as we always say. Just have a way to get notified. And as we get more data and our confidence level goes up, you will know right away. Let me show you our in-house model for the first round of storms and how this will evolve. So we're good today. No problems today. It's just going to be hot today. Get out, get your yard work done. If you've got to mow the grass, go and get that done. Get that out of the way. We get into Wednesday. Showers and storms begin to roll in. Now, this particular model is a little aggressive with the afternoon round. I'm not ruling it out. I do think it is certainly possible there will be some storms that will make a run for Southwest Indiana and West Kentucky. I'm not sure it's going to be as widespread as what's indicated, but this was one of the main triggers for the slight and marginal risk for along and north of the Ohio River tomorrow was this round. But notice as it dives southeast, you're not going to see as many of the yellows and reds showing up because the dew point roughly is in the 70s. Right through here, and then it drops off to about 62 through I-65. That is not an environment that these storms are going to like. So they could still move through as a wall of showers and maybe some gusty winds, but to severe potential, right now that risk does indeed look low. So they begin to fade out. In fact, you look at 9 p.m., they're nearly gone. And that seems to fit the pattern, so that is likely to happen. But then you get the second round. This is the MCS, the more violent wind event that will likely get going into Missouri. They, again, love moisture. High dew points. Remember, dew points are generally in the 70s to the southeast of its track, not to the east of its track. So it will not head eastbound. It will head south. There's a caveat to that, though. As the storms dive to the south, they do produce a little bit of a ripple effect. You have to look at this as almost a U shape, basically like this. And then the strongest winds will dive right in the middle of that, aiming straight down. But here's the little ripple on the eastern side. That little wave will try to sneak in here quietly as we head into the wee hours of your Thursday morning. But will it wake up? That's the important part to figure out in that forecast for your morning commute on Thursday. And I think it's possible. Some models do wake it up and we end up with a stormy Thursday morning. Some do not. The good news I can say is that even if it were to fire that eastern side, the severe risk is still low because of timing of day. These will be what we call elevated thunderstorms. So more than likely, they may have a lot of lightning, heavy rain, but as far as severe wind is pretty much unlikely. You can get some small hail out of something like that. But I think overall, it's going to be the apex where that dive is. That's your dangerous part of the whole thing of the severe setup for Wednesday into early Thursday. We're just on the edge, on the iffy side of things. So to recap, there's a chance Wednesday afternoon, northwest of Louisville, and then there's a chance for just about all of us Thursday morning at sunrise. Those are the two rounds that I see right now that we need to watch. If you're clear up to that point, type 1. Type 1 if you're good to that point, because I'm about to get into the other points here in just a second. But I want to do this step by step. Those are the two that we're watching. Once we get into Thursday, now this particular model doesn't have anything Thursday afternoon. Others blow them up again in the afternoon hours. The question here is, will there still be a bit of a ripple or a wave or a silent trigger that's still laying across the Ohio River Valley? Yeah, it's possible. I just don't know where it would be. It may still be in this area. It could be lying a little more toward the Ohio River to the Big Sandy area of Kentucky. That is possible. We don't know yet. Once we are able to track the radar trends into Thursday morning, I know it's like last minute getting down to the wire, we should have a good idea. But the atmosphere would certainly support severe weather if it indeed fires. So we've got a tough task today because we will likely have to issue alert days for this kind of a setup. I don't think we'll need one for tomorrow just because I think the idea of the lower dew points is going to eat alive any severe potential. So that right now seems to make sense. So I don't see any risk on that unless we see something change in the moisture level. So the model's wrong on the dew point. If we see that it's wrong and off track, then we'll adjust accordingly. So I'm not too concerned about tomorrow afternoon and evening right now. Thursday afternoon, the environment is primed for severe, and if it stays that way, we may still issue the alert day for that, even if we don't have a definite trigger or timing on that. It's just that we don't want to take any risk, and we make sure you guys have a full heads up. And if we have to pull back on it, we will. But that's a possibility. We're looking at that as we get to the midday hours today. And then there's another round as we head into Thursday night that could develop. Friday is trending a little quieter. This particular run of the models was Thursday night, and then here we go. Friday, I think overall Friday may lack a trigger, and the atmosphere is not as prime as Thursday is. So we may get lucky and get a break here on Friday. It's possible. So you'll notice in the rain chance, when you look at the 10-day, you'll see a bit of a drop in the rain chance for that reason. But then we get into Saturday, and we're back to another trigger to get showers and storms to develop as we into Saturday afternoon. Some of those likely will be strong to severe with another round of MCSs that could develop. There could be actually two that try to form. This is the Euro you're looking at. So it's going to be kind of a skipping here. So Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon possible, maybe a skip Friday, back at it on Saturday. And we get another skip, by the way, for I think on Sunday. It's not the only threat, though, when it comes to severe weather. We also are going to be watching the idea we're going to see repeated rounds of heavy rainfall. Boy, we've had a lot of this as of late. We've had 1 to 3 inches about every system that's came through. So every 4 days, something like that, we've had about a 1 to 3 inch event in our region. And I'm not saying every one of you watching right now has had 1 to 3 inches, but someone has every 4 days for the past few weeks. In fact, the outlook is we into Wednesday and Thursday is going to feature the same thing. Potential for 1 to 3 inches, especially if you get some that hit you more than once. You get 2 rounds in a day. You could get some very heavy rainfall. So be mindful of that. So the modeling was at least about 4 to 6 inches that could fall, and some of the higher end totals, and then some of you less than an inch. So there's a big range still, and it just depends on how the storms evolve. What happens after that? Well, first, before I get to that, I got a spammer in chat. Hold on one second. Let me get rid of that. Okay, they're gone. So after that, I mentioned the break on Sunday, but then we get to Monday. This is a different setup. This is another low pressure. It's going to quickly scoot by as we head into Monday. Well, you guys know who's coming to town Monday, right? I haven't had a chance to talk to her yet, but I will eventually get in touch with Beyonce. That storm threat is trending more and more into the evening than it was yesterday. Yesterday was a little more morning, midday. Today is trying to trend toward Monday evening. Now, I do not know how widespread this is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be severe or heavy rain. I don't know that. All I can tell you is that there is a wave of energy that comes through Monday. And I'm hoping that it's early in the day, because if it is, it would stabilize the atmosphere to where you may get lucky if we're going to the concert, and we could end up with a cloudy but a relatively cool Monday evening. It's possible. If we stay rain and storm free throughout much of the daytime period, and then we end up with a round in the evening, that could be a different ballgame. I don't want to put that out there. I don't want to put bad karma out there, because then she'll come after me. But that is something we'll be watching for Monday, for those of you heading to the concert, because there's going to be a lot of people outside. So just know that we're watching the trends. And then after that, it's interesting. The Euro especially wants to try to relax the jet and create the heat dome a little more east. GFS sorta is on board, more than it was. That would tame down the severe machine, maybe shake things up for the last few days of July into August. It would allow for the tropics to try to get a little more involved, especially homegrown tropics off the eastern seaboard or even the Gulf. It's hard to see that this far out. But the heat dome wants to try to build in. And boy, wouldn't that be fitting for the way the year has been for us to go from, well, the lack of snow to two big record-breaking wind events to a drought to flooding and severe weather, and then maybe go into heat for August. Why not? Maybe locust as we head into September. So very odd setup in the longer term, but it's going to be a hard pattern to break, but there are at least some signs for those of you that are craving those sunny, hot days and to sit by the pool without worrying about severe weather. It is possible we could see that later on in the month. All right. Any questions I can answer real quick for you guys? I think everyone's good. Anthony, we mentioned that Thursday was setting up like the last Sunday outbreak. Thursday had a lot of similarities. This Thursday does have some similarities to what Sunday was like. I just don't see it being as violent. So that's good. So I think as far as how to look on the radar, it may look similar to what we had Sunday, but as far as the result of that many warnings, I'm not seeing that right now, which is good. I'm hoping Saturday, right now, if I had to pick any of the days, Saturday is starting to stick out a little more now than the others have been. Carissa, tornado threat. These systems, tornado threat is usually low. We had two with the last round of severe weather, Casey County, and I believe it was Anderson County and Lawrenceburg area. Those were EF1s. You don't really get a lot of intense tornadoes in this setup. These are very brief tornadoes. The biggest threat in this setup in a summer pattern like this is going to be straight line damaging winds by far. That's your biggest issue, not tornadoes. You can get tornadoes, but to be honest with you, while a tornado is scary and terrifying, you can get more damage. You can get more damage over a larger area of real estate with this setup than you can with a tornado. All right, guys, I'm going to run. Myron Sari is standing by over here. She's going to be jumping live here in just a second for the news side with an update on the news side of the app if you guys want to check it out. And I'll be back with an update, of course, coming up on midday at 11 a.m. We'll see how things are trending and let you know if we have any changes to the alert day setup, especially as we get more data here for this midday. Be safe out there. Have fun today. Enjoy the dry setup on this Tuesday.